I'll admit it, the place was beautiful. The halcyon rose out of the snow like a monument, gleaming with glass and steel. Spotless windows, polished stone, warm gold light spilling from behind floor-to-ceiling curtains. Even the sidewalks leading up to the revolving doors looked staged, the snow brushed into perfect lines like someone had combed it. Rachel let out a low whistle, dragging her suitcase behind her. This is bougie as hell. I feel like I should have worn heels. You always feel like that, Kayla teased, tugging her scarf tighter against the wind. And you always say it out loud. Rachel smirked, unbothered. She was the kind who could make sweatpants look intentional. Behind us, Marcus and Dylan were still bickering over parking. Dylan swore the empty garage felt wrong, like the whole place is staged for us, while Marcus accused him of watching too many conspiracy videos. I just shouldered my bag higher and kept moving. If we stood out here too long, my ears would freeze off. When we reached the glass doors, they parted without a sound. The lobby was a cathedral. Chandelier light spilled over marble floors polished so perfectly, I could see our reflections in them. A sweeping staircase curved up toward the mezzanine, the banisters gleaming like they'd just been polished. There were no scuffs, no smudges, no smell of bleach or old carpet like every other hotel I'd ever stayed in. Just clean, too clean. Rachel spun in a slow circle. Okay, I'm moving in. Good luck affording it, Dylan muttered. Don't need luck, Marcus shot back. Need taste, that's why I picked this place. He puffed out his chest like he'd personally designed the building. Kayla elbowed me gently. You're staring. Don't tell me you're not impressed. I am, I admitted. That's the problem. The front desk stretched in a perfect arc of white stone. The concierge was already standing there, straight-backed, hands folded neatly. He smiled as though he'd been waiting just for us. Welcome to the Halcyon, he said, voice smooth and perfectly measured. Checking in? Marcus dropped his bag a little too hard on the polished floor. 5 of us, Turner. I gave him a look. Marcus had a gift for making everything sound like a challenge, before nodding to the concierge. Yes, reservation for Turner. The man's smile didn't falter. His fingers tapped the keyboard with precise, deliberate movements. Not fast, not slow, exact. Of course. 2 rooms prepared for your party. Dinner is served until midnight. Breakfast from 7. Pool and spa open at your leisure. He paused, his eyes lingering just a second too long. Please note, Floor 6 is under renovation and cannot be accessed. And his smile stretched just slightly. Curtains must remain closed after dark. Hotel policy. Rachel barked a laugh. What, afraid we'll peek at the neighbors? The concierge didn't blink. There are no neighbors. The keycard slid across the counter, black and glossy with the hotel's golden logo stamped dead center. When I picked mine up, it was cold. Not just cool from the counter cold. Ice cold, like it had been sitting outside in the snow. I almost asked about it, but the concierge was already looking past us, like we weren't the only ones checking in. Even though we were. The elevators opened before we touched the button. Chrome walls gleamed, the overhead lights buzzing faintly. There was no music. Now this is service, Marcus joked, stepping inside first. Dylan snorted. More like surveillance. Rachel rolled her eyes and smacked his arm. Can you go one night without being paranoid? I'm not paranoid, Dylan said, glaring at the mirrored wall. I'm observant. Kayla smoothed her hair against the reflection, trying to tame the static. Well, my reflection still looks good, so I'll allow it. I didn't answer. Because for a split second, I could have sworn my reflection didn't move with me. Our hallway smelled faintly of lavender, the air warmer than it had any right to be. The carpet was so soft it swallowed our footsteps. Lights glowed at perfect intervals, not a bulb dim or buzzing. Every door was identical, every number engraved in perfect gold script. Marcus tossed his key card in the air, catching it with a grin. Man, I could get used to this. No wonder it cost a fortune. Rachel pushed her door open and laughed. I swear the bed's bigger than my whole apartment. Kayla flopped backward onto hers immediately, squealing as the mattress swallowed her. Okay, Marcus, I forgive you for dragging us out here. This is heaven. Dylan grunted, yanking the curtains shut with a little more force than necessary. Yeah, heaven with rules about curtains. They all laughed, but my stomach twisted. Brand new, gleaming, perfect. And somehow, it didn't feel like anyone had ever stayed here before us. Like maybe we weren't the first guests. Just the next. Dinner was part of the package, and Marcus wouldn't shut up about getting what we paid for. So just after 7, the 5 of us gathered in the dining room. It was breathtaking, in the way a wax museum is breathtaking. Beautiful, precise, but hollow. The chandeliers hung low, crystals catching the light in perfect rainbows. White tablecloths stretched across every table, wrinkle-free. The silverware gleamed, polished to a mirror shine. Even the candles on the tables burned at the exact same height, flames flickering in identical rhythm, as if choreographed. Rachel clutched her chest dramatically. Okay, this is it. This is the night I become a trophy wife. Kayla giggled. To who, the maitre d'? Whoever brings me the wine list, Rachel shot back. Marcus strutted to the table like he owned the place. Try to act impressed. I booked this, remember? Dylan muttered. Yeah, because it was cheap. Don't act like you dropped a fortune. Affordable luxury, Marcus corrected, winking. Get it right. I slid into my chair quietly, eyes scanning the room. At first I was relieved. We weren't alone. Other guests sat scattered across the dining hall. Couples, families, a few solo travelers. Their conversations hummed low, like a steady background track. Plates clinked softly, chairs scraped faintly against the floor. Normal. Until it wasn't. The longer I watched, the more wrong it felt. A man in a tailored suit lifted his glass of wine. His hand tilted at the same angle, his pinky the same distance out. Sip, pause, smile, set the glass down. 2 minutes later, he did it again. The exact same way. At the far side of the room, a woman cut her steak with the same fluid motion over and over. Bite, chew, smile, swallow. Bite, chew, smile, swallow. Her expression never changed. A child at the next table let her spoon slip. It clattered to the floor, echoing through the cavernous room. Her parents didn't flinch, didn't look down. They just smiled, hands folded on the table. The spoon was gone when I blinked. The table reset. The conversations, I realized, didn't overlap. Each group spoke in turns, as if someone had written their dialogue and staggered it out. It was like being in a play where the actors didn't know anyone was watching. Damn, Rachel whispered, fanning herself with the menu. If this is just the setup, I can't wait to see dessert. Kayla nudged her. Relax, they'll charge extra if you drool. Marcus grinned smugly. This is why I booked it. Look at this place, worth every cent. Worth? Dylan repeated, voice sharp. It's empty. Where are the servers? The busboys? The kitchen noise? You hear anything? Smell anything? Kayla groaned. You'll die alone, you know that. I'll die aware, Dylan said flatly, glaring at the mirrored wall. I didn't say anything, but he wasn't wrong. The dining room was too silent, too clean, too perfect. The waiter appeared at Marcus's elbow without a sound. Tall, pale, dressed in immaculate black and white. His smile was polite, his voice measured, his cadence almost mechanical. Good evening. Welcome to the Halcyon dining experience. Tonight's menu is complimentary. May I take your order? Marcus clapped his hands together like a kid at Christmas. Bring me the biggest steak you've got. Salmon, Rachel chimed in. With lemon. Kayla tilted her head. Do you have soup, like tomato? The waiter nodded after each, though he never wrote anything down. When he looked at Dylan, Dylan frowned. Surprise me. The waiter smiled wider. Of course. Finally, his gaze slid to me. And for you? His eyes lingered a fraction too long. Chicken, I said softly, grilled. He bowed, expression never changing. Perfect, your meals will arrive shortly. And then he was gone. Not walked away, gone. 1 second there, the next, no footsteps, no door. Just vanished. The food arrived almost instantly. Plates set before us without fanfare, each dish steaming faintly. The presentation was flawless. Vegetables arranged in perfect symmetry, sauces drizzled like art. Rachel moaned after the first bite. I wasn't kidding, I'm in love. Kayla clapped her hands, giggling. It's like magic. Marcus, I forgive you for everything. Marcus grinned around a mouthful of steak. You're welcome. Dylan didn't touch his plate. He leaned closer to me. Do you hear anything? Kitchen noise, plates clattering, anything? I listened. He was right. No sizzling pans. No footsteps. No muffled voices. Just the faint hum of the lights. I forced myself to try a bite. It was good, too good. The seasoning perfect, the texture precise. Like it had been engineered, not cooked. Across the room, the man in the dark coat was watching me. He hadn't been there before. Tall, thin, hair slicked neatly back. His smile was too wide, his eyes too sharp. He didn't touch his food, he didn't blink. Just watched. I shifted in my seat, heart hammering. He raised his glass in a mock toast and tilted his head, studying me. I looked away, pretending to laugh at something Rachel said. When I dared to glance back, his smile had stretched wider. Halfway through the meal, the lights flickered. For a second, the dining hall plunged into shadow. The other guests didn't react, not one. Forks moved, smiles held, conversations flowed without pause. Only our table froze. Guess they forgot to pay the power bill, Rachel joked weakly. That's when the man in the coat finally spoke. His voice was low, smooth, but it carried across the entire room like he was standing right beside me. His lips barely moved. Don't stay more than one night. My fork slipped from my fingers, clattering against the plate. What did you say? Marcus barked, leaning forward. The man lifted his glass in a toast. His smile never faltered. The lights steadied. And his chair was empty. Table reset. Like no one had ever been there at all. Rachel shivered. Okay, what the hell was that? Kayla giggled nervously. Some kind of hotel prank. Dylan's eyes met mine. Serious, unflinching. No, he said. It was a warning. The snow pressed harder against the windows as we left the dining hall, the storm swallowing the city whole. Orange streetlights glowed faintly through the whiteout, but the roads were empty. Not even tire tracks. Rachel looped her arm through Kayla's. I'm not kidding. Those desserts are calling my name. If I don't get at least 2 of those chocolate things, I'll sue. Kayla laughed, but it was nervous, thin. Pretty sure Marcus is the one footing the bill. Exactly, Rachel grinned. So 3 desserts. Marcus smirked, strutting ahead. Worth every penny. Admit it, you're all impressed. Dylan snorted. Yeah, if by impressed you mean creeped out. That was some Stepford-level dinner theater back there. Don't start, Marcus groaned. I stayed quiet, my eyes drawn back to the dining room doors as they swung closed behind us. The table where the man in the dark coat had been was spotless. Plates aligned, napkins folded, glasses filled to the same level. Like no one had ever sat there at all. The chrome elevator doors opened before we touched the button. That had already stopped feeling convenient and started feeling expected. We filed in. Dylan hung back at the rear, hands shoved into his pockets, eyes scanning the mirrored walls like he expected them to crack. Marcus jabbed the button for the 5th floor. The light blinked. The elevator rose with its same smooth, silent hum. Then the doors slid open. The number above the frame glowed 6. Kayla frowned. Didn't the concierge say that it was closed? I finished. Marcus grinned. Closed for everyone else, not us. Rachel smirked nervously. Maybe it's VIP service. It's a mistake, I snapped. Get back in. But Marcus was already stepping forward, boots sinking into gray carpet. The hallway stretched ahead, pale and perfect, lined with doors that all looked the same. No lights glowed under them. No numbers marked them. Rachel followed, laughing weakly. Okay, this is creepy. Let's peek and leave. Kayla trailed behind, glancing over her shoulder. I caught Dylan's arm before he could move. His eyes met mine grim. We shouldn't, he said flatly. I know, I whispered. But the others were already halfway down the hall. And leaving them alone felt worse. So we went. The hallway was too quiet. Our footsteps sank into the plush carpet without a sound. The air smelled faintly of lavender, just like the other floors. But the longer I walked, the more it felt recycled. Stale. Marcus ran his hand along the wall. Not even a scratch. Place really is brand new. Kayla tried one of the doors. Locked. She tugged the handle harder. Well, I guess no ghosts here. Boring. Rachel rolled her eyes. You did not just say the G word. Kayla giggled. What? Haunted? Boo. Shut up, Rachel hissed, smacking her arm. I glanced back. The elevator doors were still open, gleaming faintly. But they looked too far away already, like the hallway had stretched. Okay, I said firmly. We've seen it. Let's go. Marcus sighed dramatically. Fine, you people have no sense of adventure. We turned back. That's when the lights flickered. It was less than a second, long enough to make my stomach twist. When they steadied, Dylan was gone. One heartbeat, he was beside me, muttering under his breath. The next, there was only empty space. I froze. Dylan. The hall stretched long and empty. Every door shut tight. Marcus laughed too loud. He's screwing with us. Classic Dylan. Dylan, I called, my voice breaking. It echoed down the hall, swallowed instantly. No answer. Rachel's forced smile cracked. Okay, not funny. Come out. But the silence was heavy. Wrong. I pressed a hand to the nearest door. Cold seeped through the wood. He didn't move, Kayla whispered. Her voice was shaking. I was watching. He didn't move. He just wasn't there anymore. We rushed back to the elevator, panic sharp in every step. Marcus jabbed the button over and over, swearing. The doors slid shut like they had all the time in the world. Kayla clutched Rachel's arm. Where did he go? Where? Marcus's jaw tightened. He probably ducked into a stairwell or something. There weren't any stairwells, I said. My throat was tight. The number above the door blinked. B1. Rachel frowned. Basement? We didn't. The doors opened. The basement wasn't like the rest of the hotel. Concrete floors stretched wide under buzzing fluorescent light. Pipes dripped steadily, the sound echoing. Laundry carts stood in neat rows, all empty. And on the far wall, a single door stood ajar. Light spilled through the crack. Faint. Red. Kayla whimpered. I don't want to go down there. Marcus muttered. Then don't. Stay here. But the door, it was wrong. Something hummed behind it, low and steady, like machinery or a heartbeat. Before I could move, the elevator doors slammed shut. The hum of the motor filled the silence. When the doors opened again, the number above read 5. The hallway looked normal. Plush carpet. Perfect lighting. No sign of Dylan. No button for the basement. No 6th floor. Nothing. We stumbled out, shaken. Rachel's voice cracked. Where is he? Where's Dylan? He wouldn't just vanish. He'll turn up, Marcus said. though his voice was tight. Kayla shook her head violently. No, I saw him. He didn't move. He didn't even blink. He was just gone. They all looked at me. I forced the words out. He's not coming back. The silence that followed was unbearable. Marcus swore, pacing. No, screw that. We're getting help. Staff will know where he is. He stormed down the hall, calling Dylan's name like it would make him appear. Rachel clutched Kayla's hand. I stayed still, staring at the doors lining the hall. Perfectly even, perfectly shut. Waiting. I didn't sleep, not really. I lay awake in the hotel bed, staring at the curtains drawn tight across the window. The fabric was heavy, thick, like theater drapes. No light slipped through, but every so often, I thought I heard something brushing against the glass. Not the storm, not the wind. Something slower, deliberate. When sleep finally dragged me under, it was restless. Flashes of mirrors that didn't match me, hallways that stretched forever, Dylan's empty space beside me. Rachel's voice woke me. Her hand shook my shoulder. Breakfast, she whispered, eyes wide. It's already here. The table near the window was set for 4. Plates of food steamed faintly. Eggs cooked perfectly, toast golden brown, pancakes stacked high. A silver carafe of coffee glinted under the light, cups already waiting. None of us had ordered it. No one had knocked. Kayla sat on the bed, her knees pulled to her chest, eyes fixed on the spread. No one came in. I didn't hear anything. Marcus grinned, already sliding into a chair. That's what you get in places like this. Top-notch service. He speared a pancake and shoved half into his mouth. Rachel grabbed his wrist. You're insane! What if it's drugged? Then I'll die happy, Marcus said through a mouthful. The coffee smelled incredible, rich and dark, the exact way I liked it. My stomach twisted. I forced myself to take a bite of toast. The butter had melted just enough to soak in, not drip. It was flawless, too flawless. Kayla poured coffee with trembling hands. It's good, right? It's fine. She sipped and sighed, almost in relief. Rachel pushed her plate away, untouched. I don't trust it. I wanted to agree, but hunger clawed at me, and every bite that slid down made me hungrier. It wasn't just breakfast. By mid-morning, the hotel knew us. Rachel gasped when she opened her suitcase. Her clothes were already pressed, folded, hung neatly in the closet. She swore she hadn't touched them. Kayla's phone, which had died the night before, sat fully charged on the nightstand. Even the case had been wiped spotless. And me? I found a book on the bedside table. My favorite from childhood. The exact edition, down to the torn corner of the cover. I hadn't seen it in over a decade. I didn't tell the others, but my hands shook when I picked it up. We went back to the lobby, desperate. The concierge stood as perfect as ever, smile fixed, posture rigid. Our friend, I began. Dylan, he's missing. The concierge tilted his head. There is no guest by that name. Marcus slammed his hand on the counter. The sound echoed too loud in the cavernous lobby. Bullshit, he checked in with us. He was right here. The concierge's eyes flicked toward me like he knew I'd be the one to see through it. His smile didn't falter. Perhaps you are mistaken. Rachel's voice cracked. We're not mistaken. Breakfast is served until 11, the concierge said smoothly. Would you like me to make a reservation for dinner? Marcus swore and stormed off. Rachel broke into tears. I just stood there, heart hammering, realizing we were already being erased. That night, the hotel gave us wine. It was waiting in our room, uncorked, glasses poured. The liquid shimmered dark red under the light, smooth as silk. Rachel sniffed it and recoiled. No, absolutely not. Kayla hesitated. Maybe it's like a welcome gift or an apology. Marcus grinned, clinking his glass against hers. Now that's the spirit. I didn't touch mine. Rachel didn't either. But Kayla sipped. Her eyes widened. It's perfect. It tastes like it was made for me. Rachel muttered, "That's exactly the problem." I woke in the night to silence. Kayla's bed was empty, her shoes gone. Her coat too. Panic shot through me. I shook Rachel awake, then Marcus. We tore through the room, through the hall. Nothing. Then I heard it. Laughter. Kayla's laughter, light and lilting, echoing faintly down the corridor. We followed, hearts pounding. The sound drew us to the far end of the hall, to a door we'd never seen before. Gold numbers gleamed faintly on the plaque. 616. Rachel's grip crushed my hand. That wasn't there before. Kayla's laughter floated again, soft and beckoning. "It's fine. Come on, you'll love it." Marcus rattled the handle. Locked. He slammed his shoulder against it, swore, tried again. Rachel pounded on the wood, tears streaming. "Kayla, don't, please." The laughter faded. The lights flickered, and the door was gone. Just smooth wallpaper, like it had never been there at all. We stood there in silence, the three of us breathing hard, staring at the blank wall. Marcus punched it once, knuckles splitting. Rachel sobbed into her sleeve, and I thought about the book on my bedside table waiting. Not a gift, a promise. The hotel wasn't serving us, it was keeping us. By morning, the air in our room felt heavy. Like the walls were pressing closer. Rachel sat on the bed, arms wrapped around her knees, staring at the curtains. She hadn't opened them once since the concierge's warning. Her lips moved faintly, like she was whispering to herself. Marcus paced, muttering curses under his breath. His knuckles were still raw, split from punching the wall where 616 had vanished. And me? I sat frozen, staring at the book on the nightstand. The book that shouldn't exist, the one I'd shoved into the drawer yesterday. It had been placed back out again, open now at my favorite chapter. I hadn't touched it. None of us had. The hotel wasn't just feeding us anymore. It was studying us, memorizing us. Rachel's voice broke the silence. "We can't stay here. We have to get out. Today. Now." Marcus spun, his voice sharp. "And go where? Did you look outside? That storm hasn't stopped. We'd freeze before we got 3 blocks." "Better to freeze," she snapped, than this." Neither of us answered. But for the first time, Marcus didn't sound so sure of himself. We tried the elevators. The chrome doors slid open the moment we approached, gleaming as if they'd been polished seconds before. Marcus jabbed the button for the lobby, his jaw clenched. The hum began, smooth, silent. But when the doors opened, it wasn't the lobby. It wasn't our floor. It was a hallway we'd never seen before. Narrow, half-finished, wires dangling from the ceiling like roots. Exposed pipes dripped steadily into rusted buckets. The walls were bare concrete streaked with mildew, a sharp chemical stink rising from the floor. Rachel's hand gripped mine until my knuckles ached. "Where are we?" No one answered. We stepped out slowly. The plush carpet was gone. The golden numbers on the doors were crooked, scratched, some dangling from bent nails. Marcus reached out and touched one. It swung loose, clattering to the ground. Beneath it, another number had been carved into the wood. Jagged, uneven, done by hand. 616. Rachel stumbled back, her breath catching. The hum of machinery grew louder, pulsing through the floor, steady as a heartbeat. I wanted to run back to the elevator, but Marcus pushed forward. The corridor opened into a wide chamber, and for the first time since arriving at the Halcyon, the illusion cracked completely. Concrete walls rose around us, high and damp, black mold streaking down in long rivers. The chandeliers were gone. The warm light was gone. In its place, a single bank of fluorescent tubes buzzed overhead, some flickering, others dead. Chains hung from the ceiling in neat rows. Some tipped with hooks, others looped into harnesses. And beneath them, lined in precise formation, were carts. Dozens of them, each draped in a sheet that bulged faintly with human-shaped forms beneath. The air stank of iron and rot. Rachel gagged, clapping her hands over her mouth. "No, no, no, no." Marcus whispered. It's a set. It has to be. Like, behind the scenes. They're staging it. It's fake." But I reached out and pulled one of the sheets back. And I'll never forget what I saw. At first glance, it looked like a mannequin. Smooth, pale skin. A face with no features, just blank and unfinished. But its chest rose faintly, breath hissing in and out in a shallow rhythm. Its fingers twitched, curling and uncurling. It wasn't alive. It wasn't dead. It was waiting. Rachel screamed and stumbled back into Marcus. He swore and tried to steady her, but his own face had gone pale. And then the others stirred. One by one, the covered forms shifted under the sheets, as though waking. Low hisses filled the chamber, a chorus of breath that wasn't breath at all. We bolted. The hallway seemed longer now. Each turn stretched further, the walls leaning inward. The fluorescent lights buzzed louder, bursting one by one as we passed beneath. Rachel sobbed as she ran, clutching my hand. Marcus cursed, dragging her when she stumbled. We turned a corner and froze. Kayla stood at the far end of the hall. Her coat was gone. Her hair hung wet and limp, sticking to her face. She smiled, lips stretched too wide, teeth too perfect. Her eyes were empty. But her voice was hers. "Come back," she whispered. The sound echoed down the hall, layered, as if several voices spoke through her. "It's fine, you'll love it." Rachel screamed her name. Marcus yanked her back. "That's not her." Kayla tilted her head. Her movements were jerky, unnatural, like a puppet on strings. She lifted her hand slowly, beckoning. Behind her, the walls writhed. The wallpaper rippled, seams splitting to reveal more doors. All of them marked 616. Rachel's cries turned hysterical. "Kayla, Kayla, please!" I couldn't move. My feet were rooted to the spot, my heart slamming against my ribs. Kayla's smile stretched wider, splitting the corners of her mouth. Her teeth gleamed sharp. The lights flickered. When they steadied, she was gone. The hallway was empty. Only a smear of wet footprints remained, trailing into a door that hadn't been there before. A door marked 616. We stumbled backward, gasping, shaking. Rachel clung to me, sobbing. Marcus cursed under his breath, pacing like a caged animal. The hum of machinery pulsed louder, steady and alive, vibrating through the walls. Marcus's voice broke. "This isn't a hotel. It's..." "I know," I whispered. My throat was raw. And for the first time, I wished we'd frozen in the storm outside. We didn't speak after Kayla vanished. There weren't words left for it. Rachel clutched my arm like a lifeline, her eyes red and swollen. Marcus stormed ahead, muttering curses under his breath, though his voice trembled on every syllable. We needed to leave. Not later. Not after another night. Now. The elevator was gone. Where it had been stood, a blank stretch of wall, seamless and smooth. Marcus slammed his fist against it. "No, no, no, no." The hum of machinery pulsed through the floor, deeper now, almost angry. Rachel sobbed, pressing her hands over her ears. "It doesn't want us to leave." I grabbed her shoulders. "Then we don't ask, we take it." We searched for the stairs. At first, the halls resisted, turning us in circles, leading us past the same cracked door, the same broken light. But Marcus kicked at every wall, pounded every handle, until finally we found it. A narrow stairwell tucked behind an unmarked door. Concrete steps spiraled downward into darkness. Rachel hesitated. "Down? Shouldn't we go up?" Marcus snorted. Lobby's at the bottom. You want to argue, stay here. We followed. The air grew colder with every step. The hum of machinery pressed closer, vibrating through the walls, rattling the railing under my hand. We passed a landing with a heavy steel door. Faded letters were painted across it. Service. Marcus shoved it open, and the last of the Halcyon's mask fell away. The service floor stretched wide, lit by flickering fluorescent strips. Pipes crisscrossed the ceiling, dripping black water that pooled in shallow puddles on the concrete floor. Rows of carts stood neatly aligned, identical to the ones we'd seen upstairs. Some were draped in sheets, others open, revealing mannequins in varying states of completion. One sat upright, its face half-formed, mouth open in a silent scream, eyes smooth and blank. Another's chest rose and fell, too fast, like it was hyperventilating. Its hands clawed weakly at the air. Rachel whimpered and buried her face against me. Marcus swore, his bravado cracking. What the hell is this place? I didn't answer. I couldn't, because I recognized one of the faces. Dylan. His features were stretched, unfinished, his skin too pale. His chest rose with a hiss. His lips trembled, forming words that never came. Rachel screamed. The mannequin's head twitched toward us. And then all of them stirred. The hiss of breath filled the chamber, deafening. The carts rattled as the mannequins shifted, their limbs jerking. Blank eyes turned toward us. "Run!" I screamed. We tore through the chamber, slipping on puddles, dodging carts. Shapes lunged from the corners, faceless heads swiveling too fast. We burst through another steel door and into another stairwell, hearts hammering. Up, always up. The stairs ended at the lobby, but it wasn't the lobby we'd first seen. The chandeliers still gleamed, the marble floors still shone, but everything was wrong. The angles skewed, the walls bending inward. The front desk stretched too long, the concierge standing behind it with that same frozen smile. "Checking out?" he asked smoothly. Rachel sobbed. Marcus raised his fists. I grabbed his arm. "Don't." The concierge's eyes flicked to me. A shame. Guests so rarely complete their stay. The doors behind him slid open. For the first time, I saw the storm had broken. Pale sunlight gleamed off the snow outside. Marcus sprinted for it. Rachel and I followed. The concierge didn't move, but the hum of machinery roared louder, shaking the floor, rattling the chandeliers. The doors began to close. I shoved Rachel through, then Marcus. The glass slammed against my shoulder as I forced myself through the narrowing gap. For a heartbeat, I felt something seize my coat, pulling me back. Then I was free. The doors sealed behind us with a hiss. We stumbled into the snow, gasping, trembling. The parking lot stretched wide and empty. Our cars were gone. No tracks led away. Rachel collapsed, sobbing into her hands. Marcus bent double, cursing until his voice broke. I just stared back at the building. The Halcyon gleamed in the morning light, perfect as ever. Curtains drawn across every window. No cracks, no mold, no chains. As though nothing had happened. The police didn't believe us. When we stumbled into town hours later, half frozen and incoherent, they listened, frowning, exchanging glances. They searched the address Marcus gave them. Nothing. No hotel, no building, just an empty lot. They filed a report, patted our shoulders, told us we'd been through a shock. Marcus stopped arguing after the third interview. Rachel refused to leave her apartment. And me? I tried to forget. Tried. But at night, when my apartment heater clicks and hums, I hear it. The same low, steady thrum. Like machinery. Like breath. And sometimes, when I pass a mirror, my reflection smiles before I do.